Buckingham Palace, today a worldwide symbol of the British monarchy, began as a private residence built in 1703 for John Sheffield, Duke of Buckingham and Normanby, on the marshy grounds bordering St. James's Park. The architect William Wynd designed it as a red brick mansion in the English classical style of the period, a rectangular structure with a central block and two side wings. Nothing at that time destined it to become the official seat of royal power. In 1762, King George III purchased the house for £21,000, a considerable sum, and offered it to his wife, Queen Charlotte. It became known as the Queen's House, here a family retreat where 14 of their 15 children were born, not a palace yet, but a domestic sanctuary, removed from the intrigues of the court of St. James. Its location, however, both central and secluded, already hinted at its future. A fortress suited to a monarchy that wished to be seen without being touched. A century later, George IV, obsessed with grandeur and display, ordered a complete transformation. In 1825, he commissioned the architect John Nash, one of the most daring designers of his age. Nash preserved the original core but wrapped it in a neoclassical envelope of marble and ornament. Corinthian columns, sculpted pediments, and sweeping galleries surrounded a U-shaped courtyard allowing royal carriages to circulate unseen. Yet the extravagance proved ruinous. Italian marbles, gilded mouldings, and imported French silks drove costs beyond £500,000, provoking scandal and leading to Nash's dismissal. Edward Blore completed the project with greater restraint, and behind the white stone facade, the brickwork of the 1703 mansion still lies hidden, cemented into the modern structure, invisible yet intact. In 1837, Queen Victoria made Buckingham Palace her principal residence, marking the moment when royal authority became fully anchored in London. The building at that time was barely habitable. The roofs leaked, the drains stank, and smoke filled the corridors. Victoria wrote that the palace was a cold, damp, and smelling of fresh paint air. Yet under her and Prince Albert's direction, it evolved into the nerve center of the constitutional monarchy. Albert modernized it with central heating, gaslight, and a pneumatic message system. And in 1856 the Great Ballroom was inaugurated, a masterpiece of Victorian engineering. After Albert's death the palace fell silent for years, until Edward VII reopened it, introducing the ceremonial disciplines still observed today. George V turned it into a bureaucratic headquarters, with offices, schedules, and hierarchies. In 1913, architect Sir Aston Webb rebuilt the east facade facing the Mall, giving it the symmetry and order now familiar to their world. Its Portland stone exterior, deliberately austere, was meant to express stability and restraint, to present the monarchy as rational and enduring. Beneath this appearance of calm, however, lies a hidden world. Beneath the foundations stretches a network of tunnels and service corridors linking kitchens, storerooms, offices, and royal apartments, some said to connect discreetly with nearby St. James's Palace. During the Second World War, the basements were converted into bomb shelters. 9 German bombs struck the grounds between 1940 and 1941. One destroyed the Royal Chapel. Another exploded in the quadrangle while King George VI was at work. Repairs were carried out in secret at night to maintain the illusion of invulnerability. Under the marble floors and carpets lie kilometers of cables and pipes serving 77,000 square meters of building. Parts of the Victorian plumbing are still in use. The palace maintains its own power plant, water treatment, and internal alarm systems independent of the city's infrastructure. Buckingham Palace is a miniature city. It contains 775 rooms, including 19 staterooms, 52 royal and guest bedrooms, 188 staff bedrooms, 92 offices, and 78 bathrooms. Only the ceremonial rooms, open each summer, are accessible to the public. The rest remains unseen. The upper floors hold the monarch's private apartments, libraries, and archives, while the basements conceal sewing workshops, laundries, wine cellars, a private cinema, a swimming pool, and the internal post office handling there. Royal correspondence. Outside, the 39-acre garden contains over 300 plant species, a lake, beehives, and even a tennis court. Each summer, some 30,000 guests attend garden parties there, yet for most of the year it is closed, silent, and carefully guarded. The palace functions through an organization of almost military precision. Around 800 people work there permanently, from butlers, valets, and dressers to chefs, gardeners, archivists, and technicians, all coordinated by the master of the household, who oversees domestic operations, and the Lord Chamberlain, who governs protocol and ceremony. Every movement, every gesture, every timing follows code and rank. Servants never use the grand staircases or royal corridors. They move unseen. Through their own network of passages, communication relies on a system of bells and indicator lights installed in the 19th century, still partly functional. Each chime signals a precise room, triggering a chain of reactions. Staff are forbidden to speak unless addressed, to meet the monarch's eyes unbidden, or to turn their back before a formal exit. The rules, drawn from Victorian etiquette, are still enforced. Silence is as much part of the job as duty itself. Most staff serve for decades, some for life. Their discretion is contractual absolute, bound by confidentiality clauses that forbid publishing or discussing their work. Certain posts, the chief butler, the page of the backstairs, the royal dresser, are passed down like hereditary offices. The daily rhythm of the palace follows an unchanging schedule. Royal apartments prepared by 6 in the morning, meals served at exact times, banquets timed to the minute. Even the temperature of the state rooms is fixed by protocol. The internal calendar of Buckingham Palace operates independently from government, dictating receptions, audiences, and investitures according to an ancient seasonal order. Beyond the visible hierarchy lies another, unseen one, of privilege and access. Some corridors may only be used by staff of specific rank. Certain rooms, the throne room, the Privy Council chamber, are accessible to very few. Behind panelled walls remain bricked-up rooms, relics of Nash's and Bloor's renovations, their doors hidden within the woodwork, unopened for over a century. Internal inventories mention forgotten storage spaces containing Victorian furniture, portraits, and damaged relics from the Blitz. These sealed arrows, absent from public plans, feed the myth of the palace's invisible architecture. Within its private archive rooms, tens of thousands of documents, letters, and blueprints are preserved under a century-long embargo. In this way, Buckingham's power is sustained by secrecy as much as by ceremony. Today, Buckingham Palace remains a living institution, at once residence, office, museum, and fortress. Official receptions, state banquets, and diplomatic audiences unfold with ritual precision, beneath chandeliers lit by modern LEDs replacing the old gas lamps. Since 2017, a vast 10-year renovation has been underway to replace electrical, plumbing, and heating systems dating from the 1950s, funded by the sovereign grant. The work is carried out room by room, so that royal functions continue without interruption. Even the renovation itself follows royal timetable and security protocols. Because a palace of this stature cannot simply close, its continuity is part of the monarchy's message, as essential as its walls. Behind the ceremonies and discipline, Buckingham Palace is not merely stone and protocol. It is an organism of history, a machine of power and silence. Its walls contain traces of the 18th century damp, the explosions of 1940, the expansions of every reign. Its secrets are layered like its bricks, unseen, but always alive. And even for those who live and work within it, Buckingham Palace remains a mystery, a place that no one, not even its monarchs, has ever completely known.